Alright, hello everyone, and welcome to Rise of the Dark Avatar session number 7. I'm ELH the Game Master, and joining me are some lovely role players which I am pleased as punched to once again share a game table with. In terms of announcements, I think the only thing it's worth mentioning is that, knock on wood, all things proceeding well with CBS and Paramount and Viacom, etc., etc., the 21st, literally next Monday, is when Avatar Legends, the full release, is supposed to start rolling out. So it might be something where if we get our hands on the rules with enough time before the stream, we might just handle everything offline. But if it's something where if we get the book like an hour before stream, that stream itself might just be us going through and quote-unquote upgrading our characters to the full rules. So I did want to give everyone a heads up on that, just in case that happens. But again, you know, it's all dependent on one of us getting in with the rollout. I don't think there's anything else announcement-wise, so why don't we get everybody to introduce themselves, and then we'll get started. So, Aaron, what you got?
Hey, hi guys, I'm Aaron. Super happy to be back again, loving Avatar, Dark Avatar specifically. I'm playing Lu Songshi, the Guardian Playbook Earthbender from the Middle Ring of Ba Sing Se. And Tuesday nights, starting tomorrow again, Captain Williams in Star Trek Euthenia.
Hello everyone, I'm Darewolf, Darewolf Gaming 88 on Twitter and Twitch. I am playing Shazo Lee, and much like the other players here, I am ecstatic, filled with vibrant life and energy, at an opportunity to play with these three lovely individuals. And I just want to extend my appreciation.
Hello everyone, my name is Matthew. I will echo the sentiments of my patriots. I play Amaruk, a female waterbender from Republic City who uses the Successor Playbook. She is the heir of a crime family dedicated to preserving knowledge.
Knowledge in quotes, of course. Anyways, alright, Benno, let's hear that opening narration.
Water, air, fire, earth. Mastery of all four elements has always been associated with the ability to bring balance to the world. But Avatar Aang has passed away, and the new Avatar has yet to be found. In this transitional era of rapid progress and technological wonder, the world must come to rely on a new force to maintain the balance between humanity and spirits, between light and dark, yin and yang. Rava's followers would tell you that this new dark avatar should be locked away without question. Yet as a certain wise man will tell you, light and dark cannot exist without one another. There is light in the darkness, and darkness in light. Can the dark avatar truly keep the balance? Only time will tell.
Alright, welcome back. So, for those who are just joining us or need a recap from last time, the Team Dark Avatar basically journeyed away from the Eastern Air Temple where they weathered a, shall we say, interesting attack from the White Lotus. They managed to acquire an airship, and a few shenanigans were had on that airship as they sailed through the skies towards a twin moon repository of knowledge and relics and things of that nature. During this journey, some very important things happened. First of all, we found out that Shazo is an amazing singer and is also apparently really skilled when it comes to airship maintenance, which is, you know, you learn something new every day. We also found out that Yang does have the ability to both take away and restore bending, but the restoration has a bit of a caveat to it, as Lu Songshi found out when he suddenly was able to metal bend when he couldn't before. And needless to say, this caused a little bit of problems, but Shazo handled it just fine. But eventually what this ultimately led to was the Team Dark Avatar landing on a beach in Eastern Earth Kingdom and disembarking and heading towards this twin moon encampment. Upon arrival at the Twin Moon encampment, they basically bluffed their way as quote-unquote safety inspectors and were able to gain access to the underground repository. And when they did, they found, well, to say important is probably not a good enough word, but they found vital relics that absolutely could not be left in the hands of the Twin Moon. So they did what any enterprising or would-be heroes would do, and they made a distraction that turned into a battle, which led to the Dark Avatar having to rip open a portal to the spirit world to get everybody out. But the good news is that they were able to acquire a spirit egg that was about to hatch, as well as a spirit antler to match the one they already had. So, where we resume proper is you have all just come through the portal into the spirit world. And unlike last time, when you were in the middle of a vibrant forest that seemed to be alive around you, you're now in a form of a desolate wastes. I would like to equivalent it to probably something like Midwest, the Dust Bowl, before anyone really, lived out that way. So lots of flat plateaus, maybe even a few tumbleweeds thrown in for just good measure. But there's nothing here. It's just as far as you can see around you. It's just flat nothingness. And as you all come out and Ying closes the portal, pulling through a book at the last moment and goes, okay, Amaruk here, tosses you the book. Hopefully that was a good book, because I don't think I'm going to get the rest. But, okay, so do we get the antler? Lu Songshi, Chazo, did we get the antler?
And yeah, Lu reaches into his tunic. Yep, I got it.
Chazo is frantically running around like on all fours, like patting the dusty, sandy ground and saying, "Where is it? Where is it? Did it make it through? Did we leave it? Oh, come on! It had to have made it through."
What are you looking for?
The spear! The spear! Where did it go?
Hammer just pans over to Amaruk, who probably still holding it, if I remember correctly.
No, Amaruk left that behind, actually.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
the camera pans over to Amaruk with no spear in hand, and she is actually bending over to pick up the book that, when it was tossed to her, she just sort of fumbled with, and she scoops it up off the ground, dusts off the cover, and then just sort of slumps back on the ground.
And I think Ying notices Amaruk being a little bit reclusive and goes, is everything all right, Amaruk? It seemed like you knew that guy at the end.
Yeah. Let's focus on our problems, the immediate problems, and not the ones we've left behind us, right?
Sure. Now, Shazo, I know we didn't rescue your spear, unfortunately, but I did find this as you all were rooting around, and she pulls out a preserved package of jerky. But when she shows it to you, you see that this jerky is, shall we say, aged is an understatement. This is jerky from before even Kyoshi, Avatar Kyoshi's time. So this is preserved delicacy meat from almost, if I have my timeline right, almost half a millennia ago, if not longer.
So those comical tears coming out, the loss of his spear, suddenly cease. He leans in. He, with a reverence similar unto someone worshipping an ancient artifact, perhaps an ancient spear, if we could be so bold to say, he leans in and looks at it. This was thought lost to the sands of time, much like this dust here. Can I have it?
I mean, yeah, it's yours to do with as you wish.
Gentle. And he takes it, slowly brings it in, cradles it like a newborn.
Oh, I wouldn't eat that.
Slight tear.
He's
Slight
going to eat
tear.
it, regardless of what you say.
I don't.
The aroma is a mixture of
Ah,
ancient meats
this is a formidable stench.
and
It's
foul
putrefaction.
smelling like refuse.
It's stinging my nostrils and irritating my eyes at the same time.
I will clear your sinuses. It's gonna slowly take out one piece
No.
and gobble it down.
Yep, he did it. All right, I'm going to need you to push your luck, which means I know you roll with passion. And if you want it, there is a +1
I roll,
from
which
chat
do I
already. Passion here.
Passion? All right, I'm actually.
And if
pretty
you
good
want
at
the
passion.
+1 from chat, it is open.
Oh, I'll take it. Here we go.
All right, hey, you get a hit. So
Nice.
you do get it. So the meat actually is very flavorful. I don't know if you've ever had the pleasure, quote unquote, of having like 1,000-year egg or one of those, Asian delicacies where they let things ferment for a while, and it supposedly is a very interesting taste because obviously people eat it. But the bad news is that the moment it goes down your throat, you are in gastric distress. Now I'm going to let you decide how much gastric distress, but you could use a restroom sometime in the near future.
And then he runs off over the nearest hill, like trying to hold it in, and just and we'll just leave it there.
Okay. And I think Ying goes, okay, well, he can't go far. I mean, there's literally nothing around us, so.
Well, that we can see.
What about the egg, Ying?
I thought you. Oh, right. Hold on. She pats her robes. Here it is. And she pulls it out. And what you see is that now that it's in the spirit world, it's no longer that golden, flawless sphere. It is now a golden egg that is about the size of an ostrich egg, which, if you haven't even seen an ostrich egg.
Damn.
An ostrich egg, if I remember my sizes correctly, is about the size of a basketball, if not just a little bit smaller. So it's a big egg. But she pulls it out and shows it to you and says, yeah, what do we do with this?
We have to carry it with us until it hatches. At least we're in the spirit realm, and I don't think...
You know what I just remembered? I'm a terrible owner. Hosa's gonna have to find us again. Damn. We need to start bringing Hosa with us.
Well, we didn't have an inspection uniform to fit her.
I mean, she's a little conspicuous.
She's a sheer shoe. We could have written it off as sniffing for dangerous chemicals or something. Oh well.
That's
hindsight
actually
2020 or whatever that saying is.
a very good idea.
But
Are you sure she found us the last time though? She should be able to find us.
Oh yeah, once we get back to, and she looks around, the normal
Yes.
world.
Speaking of, I don't recognize any of this.
Nor do I. Actually, I am at a loss as to what direction to start heading.
Isn't it that when you're in the spirit realm, you just think about where you're trying to go and, commitment, focus that leads you where you're meant to be?
I think so. I mean, that's kind of how we got to the Tree of Time before.
And,
So where do we want to go?
I think at that you'll see Lou is sort of gripping the antler, closes his eyes very tightly. You can see sort of the whiteness, the tightness of his skin around his eyes as he just clenches his eyes shut. And what he's thinking about is Iroh's spread at the at his little feast table.
Okay. Now, Shazo and Amaruk, as you see Lu Songshi doing this, is there anything you'd like to add to this situation before we whoosh over?
Go ahead, Wolf. Is there something?
Shazo has reappeared as though out of thin air, completely fine, as though nothing has happened, and is currently eating a second stick of jerky.
Nice.
But with that being said, he will look over to Amruk and perhaps in a uncharacteristically caring voice, Amruk, are you sure you're okay?
No, I suppose I'm not. I mentioned before that I tend to run away from my problems, which is kind of ironically what we just did. Hanzo, the man that we fought, that was one of my problems.
And I think Ying kind of doesn't say anything, but she just starts staring a little bit too closely at Zamarok as you continue, Shazo.
I don't think we ran away from them. I think we escaped.
No, we ran away from them.
Okay, that's fair. But with that being said, he's gonna pivot over and look at Lou and be like, "Help me out here, buddy. Buddy."
What?
Kicks him in the shin. Say something.
Ow! What?
I don't know, inspirational or something.
We lost. And we lost badly.
And I think at that, Ying snaps her fingers and go, "I got it. He's the one that gave you that necklace." Pointing at Amarok's betrothal necklace.
And she reaches up, leaving the book behind on the ground to touch the necklace. Oh, thank the spirits not. No.
Oh, I was gonna say, I mean, if he gave that to somebody he was betrothed to, I'd hate to see what he'd do to an enemy.
Well, that's the thing. He didn't give me the necklace, but he is betrothed to me.
And I'm sorry, what?
I have so many questions.
It's a long story, but arranged marriages are a common thing for the Water Tribe for most nations throughout their history. It's just a matter of politics.
Wait, you're engaged?
That's what the necklace is.
Well, yes. I mean,
Shazo very suddenly looks very uncomfortable and very closed off. Oh, well, congratulations. And then he's going to turn around and continue to eat his jerky.
I mean, you saw the necklace, right? And she gestures towards the Water Tribe betrothal
You hear very
necklace.
loud gurgling from Shazo. You're not sure where it's coming from, whether it's like here or down in his tum-tum. And he has gone up and over that hill again.
Okay, we're gonna have to handle that at some point. Okay. Okay, so wait a second. If he didn't give you that necklace, who did give you the necklace?
That was Rin. But my mother never would have approved of that. There's a purpose behind marriages and relationships, and it's not emotion, it's politicking. That's tradition.
Well, yes, it's about gaining a favorable position for your family or maintaining a favorable position for your family.
You know, my mother might actually like you.
And I think
That's not a compliment.
I don't think that it is.
No.
But then again, Hanzo didn't give you that necklace. And let's be fair, you're in open conflict with your mother now. So really, can you honestly say that you're betrothed to Hanzo at this moment?
I imagine that I've actually been married in absentia.
And I think Ying crosses her arms and says, "Well, by the authority vested in me as Dark Avatar, yada yada yada, I hereby annul any and all arranged marriages, etc., etc." I really should have thought that through, but it sounded cool, and I wanted to lift her spirits, so there you go.
The Zappo is up on her shoulder and is like throwing his arms wide as though like she's giving a sermon. So, yeah.
When did you get here, Fazappo? I don't understand a word you're saying. Okay. Shazo, your pet's... Okay, he's still over the hill. Okay.
That really means a lot to me, Fazappo. I mean, that gets me right here. Are you the reincarnation of a poet, maybe? That is so true.
Lusongshi, are we being punked? Is that a thing?
I don't even know what that is.
Okay, all right. It was something I read in a book once.
Ah, well, we need to get out of here.
Yeah, we do. Hey, Shazo, are you okay over there?
30 seconds!
Okay. I mean, it looked like you were trying to go somewhere, Lou. Where were you thinking of going?
I was actually trying to get back to Master Iroh.
That's good thinking.
I figured he helped us a lot the last time, and he may have some food.
Maybe some tea to settle Xiaozo's stomach. That'd be nice.
And good company and kind counsel can often illuminate even the darkest times.
You might also know something about that egg, where it's should be hatched, where the creatures that produced it might be living. We could ask him about it.
Well, as soon as Shazo comes back, let's try that whole thinking to go where we want situation.
Shazo is back again, appearing as though out of thin air, eating a third piece of jerky. Where are we going?
Oh, okay. So how do we do this? Do we just like hold hands in like a circle, or do we like put our hands in like we're gonna do a cheer? Like how do we do this? Or do we just start walking and think really hard? I'm honestly not sure how this works.
I think we just have to unify ourselves in purpose as we stride forward, confident of our destination, knowing where we have to go, and possibly doing some sort of ancient spiritualistic dance that I've learned from my own family.
I have so many questions, but okay, let's hold hands just so that we don't get lost, or if Shazo thinks of a bathroom, he doesn't end up in some literal dump somewhere in the spirit waste. So let's just all hold hands and let's see what happens. So yeah.
Linking hands.
Yeah. So once you all hold hands and Ying starts to walk forward, leading the train forward, the scenery around you actually begins to shift very rapidly. It's as if you are a rocket car or a bird soaring across the wastes, and very rapidly a grassy plain comes up to you, and then you're going across this grassy plain, and then you arrive in front of Iroh's hut, except something is very different at Iroh's hut this time. Last time, it was just a meager abode which had a tea table out, and there were spirits having tea and biscuits and things like that. Have any of you ever seen pictures of Woodstock?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I want you to imagine that instead of the tea table, but behind where the Iroh's house is, there is a similar-sized crowd of spirits and a large stage upon which are several spirits performing some form of music. Now, I was going to do rave music here, or house music, or techno music, but DMCA, so stream, just imagine, unfortunately. But the moment you stop moving forward, you begin to hear the bass, you begin to hear the music. It's an upbeat tune, the spirits are undulating in the crowd, they're dancing to the music. And if you look really, really carefully, you see that Iroh himself is actually on stage belting out his famous Winter and Fall song, if you remember that one from the original show. But as you all come to a stop and you all unlink hands, Ying kind of points and goes, okay, I've never seen a party. Okay, this is the thing.
And as the three of them glance out into the crowd, they suddenly realize that Shazo is immersed deep in the middle of the crowd with just like what do you call it? Like color sticks, whatever you call them. I can't think of
Glow
what
sticks?
Glow sticks.
Glow sticks, and he's going to town, and Fazzapo's on his head. This party's awesome.
How did he? Okay, again, so many questions.
I think it's the repeated head trauma.
You think?
Well, that wouldn't explain why we just sort of miss him. How did he disappear like that? He just got into the crowd immediately.
I wasn't referring to him.
You were saying we're blacking out.
I'm saying we have to entertain that possibility.
Maybe it just has something to do with the spirit realm. That's how he's just in the crowd. It's a manifestation of his inner reality.
Or he could be the world's greatest ninja. And also the world's greatest actor.
Are we talking about the same Shazot?
Head trauma is much more likely.
I am exhausted.
You see Shazot, he's now crowd surfing through. Fazzapo's like riding him like a surfboard.
Woo!
Whenever I pictured the spirit realm, this is not what I pictured. What I pictured was much more serene and dignified.
So do we join in like Shazot, or do we try to flag down Iroh, or what do we do here?
The spirit world is down. The spirit world is down.
I'm not a good dancer.
I don't think anyone here is a good dancer. I mean, just look at that. She gestures out to the crowd. So, all the more reason to just throw concern to the wind and do as the spirits do. We want to placate them, to join in their ritual, right?
In the middle of this conversation, Shazot has reappeared behind you both, clipped on several pieces of glow stick accoutrement onto you, and then is like, "Come on, guys, this is awesome!" You blink, he's back in the middle of the crowd.
Okay, I think he's figured out the spirit world because he's too good at that. Like that he just knows how this place works.
It's the jerky.
You think?
It predates Avatar Kyoshi. Maybe it has some mystic properties.
Possible.
I mean, the last time we ate food from the spirit realm, we regained our bending. It has some precedent, and my family wouldn't have collected something if it didn't have some spiritual resonance.
Shazot, roll me another passion here because they finally said something very important. Roll me another passion. This is another push your luck. And I don't think you have one from chat at the moment, but you never know. Don't even need the +1 from chat. You get a full hit. So Shazot, you're dancing, you're having a good time, but you start to notice that your fingertips are sparking. And as you do, and you concentrate on the sparking, like almost like how a plasma ball like kind of follows your fingers and kind of arcs with electricity. Yeah, there's kind of that going on between your fingers right now.
Oh wow! That
and then
jerky was awesome.
One of the spirits dancing next to you will say it's a worm spirit, so it's kind of like an earthworm, but it just also has like little arms that stick off of the worm body. Kind of turns to you and goes, "Great party, huh?"
Yeah, Jim, it's freaking amazing. Are you seeing these sparkles, man?
Yeah, man. I don't know if that's you tripping or me tripping or all of us tripping, but that's pretty cool.
And he's gonna try to like throw them up so that they spark.
And when you do that hands up gesture, literal thunder, lightning strikes just arc out of your hands, and thunder echoes across this little Woodstock rave scene, and everybody stops. The music stops, and everybody turns to look at you in concern, like, yeah, what's going on?
Cool party, guys! And he's gonna do it to the same beat and the lighting effects that the song was going to, and make sure that the thunders is matching the heavy bass beats. And he's just gonna like do this. Hopefully everybody jumps back in.
All right, I'll let it happen since you rolled a 10.
Yes, thank you.
At this point, Ying is just like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna hold the egg unless one of you wants to. Why don't one of you go ask Iro about the whole antler thing? He seemed to know something about it before, if I remember correctly.
I think I'm going to keep an eye on Xiaozhou Lu. Do you want to handle Master Iroh?
Yes, I'll try to get a word with him.
Great.
And
And by watch Xiaozhou, I actually mean I'm going to read this book that we took from our library.
right,
Just so you know.
I mean, you mean watch in the sort of, well, definitely not the literal sense, but I think I understand. Just a sort of emotional support and anchor in case he needs to come back to reality for a moment.
No, not even in the figurative sense, because I'm really going to be absorbed in this book. So
Right.
he's on his own, and just so you know, that's all. It'll be fine. He's good. Look at him. Look at how much fun he's having. How could there be anything wrong with that?
And with that sentence, Fazapa will appear on your shoulder with a very long, ostentatious pipe with a very fragrant smell of burning leaves inside of it, and will just give you that look of like,
Don't you look at me like that.
and then we'll offer you the pipe.
Thanks. I don't smoke. That's very
Take
kind
the
of you.
pipe back, and then just long drag.
I mean, it does add a certain aesthetic, though, of course, to reading. It's very distinguished, but that's more my mother than me, I think.
Zappo has curled up on Lee's shoulder and is currently purring.
Well,
Right,
I'll see you all later. Yeah, and I think Lou's gonna walk around the crowd and sort of head to, if there's like a side, side stairs on either stage right or stage left.
Yeah, I was gonna say probably stage
get up
right
right.
as you're looking at the stage. So, I would say you're able to get around the crowd and up to the side stage, but you do see that there is a buffalo bear, kind of. We'll say he's an anthro buffalo bear in that he's not like on all fours; he's up on two, and he just kind of almost in a bouncer stance is kind of like, "Sorry, are you the next act? Because if you're not, I can't let you up on stage."
It's very important. I need to speak to Master Iroh.
You want to speak to the Rave Master?
Where am I?
Well, you're in the spirit world. You'd think you know that, but I mean,
It was a rhetorical question. Yes, thank you. Yes, I would like very much to speak to the Rave Master. And I think at this, like, you just see that vein. There's like this giant vein in Lusakshi's temple just throbbing.
all right. I think this is a plead. So go ahead and give me a harmony. No +1 from chat, but let's see what you get for harmony.
I don't have much in the way of harmony. By that I mean it's a 0.
Oh, don't
Here
forget your
we
conditions
go.
as well. Your conditions could play into things.
Yeah, no, not for.
Oh, there you go. There's a +1 from
right,
good old Alex.
I'm taking
Thanks,
it.
Alex.
I'm taking it, Alex. You're the man.
All right,
Hit.
it's a hit.
So I can, but
Yeah, that's the thing. So the buffalo bear bouncer. Trying to say that 3 times fast.
that's alliteration right there.
He kind of, he seems to be like nodding his head, and like, all right, yeah, I'll let you see him, but I gotta ask why. I mean, is it something wrong with the rave? Is there something important going on?
No, I'm sure this rave is really quite good. Everybody seems to be enjoying themselves. One of my companions is having a great time.
Oh, is he the lightning guy?
Yeah, that's him.
Oh.
I don't have fun a lot.
Oh.
So
Well, you really should try to have fun more. It's all about having balance. If you got a stick up your butt, you got to remove that stick and just let loose, man.
That's so profound. But really, we just need to know how to get back. We aren't spirits, and we need to find our way back. Also, we have this spirit egg that we found in the corporeal world, and we want to know where to leave it.
A spirit egg, you say? And he kind of looks all around you. I don't see a spirit egg.
Oh, hang on 1 second, and Lou will actually sprint away, go back to Ying, and I just need this and then sprint back.
And Ying runs after you, kind of a thing.
Yeah, and he'll sprint back up to the bison and be like, "Here."
Oh, that is quite the find you have there. Hold on a second. And the bison goes up the little stairs, kind of motions at Iroh, and Iroh's like having a good time. He's doing the fat old man dance. Well, I guess he's not really fat by the time he goes to the spirit world. He's just undulating with the music. He's having a good time, and he notices the wave, and he goes, "All right, hold on, everybody, hold on. Keep the music going." And crowd cheers as he exits the stage and comes to meet you and goes, "Oh, hello, Lu Song-shi and Ying, I believe. What brings you back to my little abode?"
This.
And you show him the egg, and he looks a little bit closer. "My lord, Hold on a moment." And he kind of slaps the side of his cheeks, and he shakes his head and goes, "Sorry, have to get out of party mode here, because this is very important."
You're very sweaty.
When you're dancing for untold amount of time, it happens. But this egg, where did you get it exactly?
In a Twin Moons repository.
I have no idea what the Twin Moons are, but it sounds like you rescued it from some very unsavory people.
Oh, criminal syndicate.
Okay, that answers my question. Now that said, I'm going to assume you know what a dragon is, and you know what a turtle is, but do you know what a dragon turtle is?
What kind of question is that?
I mean, I'm happy to explain if you don't know.
Please.
Alright. Long ago, back when man and spirit lived in the same world, the humans lived on dragon turtle backs. All of their settlements, all of their accoutrement, all of their lifestyle was on the back of these dragon turtles. Eventually, they left those dragon turtles behind, and as the spirits left the world to here, motioning around in the spirit world, the humans no longer needed the help of the dragon turtles. However, the difference is the dragon turtles are why bending exists. They are the ones that granted Avatar Aang the ability to spirit bend and energy bend. They are the ones that gave Avatar June, I think it's June, gave Avatar June the very first fire that inspired him to become the first Avatar. It's a very long story that I won't bore you with, but you have the egg of a dragon turtle before you. And hopefully my haphazard explanation does at least highlight the importance of such an artifact.
So what could they have possibly wanted with it?
Well, it's a dragon turtle. It can grant bending. It can tap into an untold reservoir of knowledge. It would kind of be like, are you familiar with Pai Sho?
Yes.
Well, it would be kind of like playing Pai Sho, but instead of two people playing, you just sort of watch as the other player moves your pieces for you and you lose in 3 turns. It's that level of control over the game, if the analogy works.
Oh. That's horrible.
Right, which is why I'm glad you rescued it from unsavory people.
They could empower a legion of earthbenders, airbenders, firebenders, waterbenders, all loyal to them.
And I think Ying actually speaks up from next to you and goes, "Hold on, Iroh, he's just raised a very good and important point. What kind of dragon turtle is this?" "I have no idea. but I can tell you it does look about ready to hatch.
Oh, should we maybe get clear of this party?
Well, it's not going to be a very large dragon turtle to start with, but you probably shouldn't let it hatch here, yes.
All right. Well, and almost remembering himself and things like decorum and discipline, Lou will sort of straighten up for a moment and give a deep bow to Master Iroh and say, "Thank you, Master. If it's not too much trouble, perhaps
not at
some
all.
questions later."
Of course. Though I'll let Bobby here know just to flag me down instead of, just... Bobby, let him through next time. All right, boss. And Iroh bows to both you and Ying and goes back up on stage and starts dancing again.
He actually stops Master Iroh and says, "Master, if you're looking for a follow-up act," and he points at Ying.
Oh, yes, I do like that. So he gets up on stage. He grabs a kind of a comical, like, natural-made megaphone, something to amplify his voice, and he echoes across the crowd. All right, spirits, I have wonderful news. You all remember the Avatar. Well, how about the Dark Avatar? She's gonna come up and say a few words for us all. And everybody cheers, and, Ying is like, "What did you just do, Lou? What did you just do?"
Oh my god, I know her!
Yes.
I know her!
And as he sort of cradling the egg against his chest and sort of walks past her with that sort of smug, eyes closed, eyebrows up, it builds character.
Come on up, Avatar, Dark Avatar. But I don't... Come on up, don't be shy. Okay, okay, this is very bad. Okay, don't like public speaking. Don't like it. So, I just again want to paint the picture that the Dark Avatar is a very large woman, very muscular woman, usually in charge, usually knows what she's doing. As she's stepping up onto the main stage, she's very meek. She's kind of like, arm held across her chest and kind of rubbing her forearm. She's like, "Okay, yes, hi," doing that little wave to the crowd. And Iroh passes off the voice amplifier, and she, kind of coughs into it, and there's that, stereotypical, like, screech of a microphone kind of a thing as it adjusts, and goes, "Ooh, okay, hi, my name's Ying, I guess I'm the Dark Avatar, hi, how are you doing?"
Woo! Yeah,
Hi,
you rock!
Shazzo. And the
Number
spirits around Shazzo are like, "Holy crap, you know her?"
Dark Avatar for life!
And some of the other spirits go, "Speech! Speech! Speech!"
Woo, speech!
Oh, okay, you guys want a speech. Okay. All right, I don't really know what I'm doing yet, but I can assure you that until I right the wrongs of the people of the real world, that I'll make sure that... and she just freezes, like her mouth open, and she's just like deer in headlights, like stopped with her sentence. Now, Amarok and Lu Songshi and Shazzo, do any of you want to try and motivate Ying to continue?
Oh, boy, do I.
Okay.
Shazzo is going to like try to like get up on like someone's shoulders and she's like, "Dark Avatar, yeah! Woo! Tell us a story about adventures! Woo!" Kind of like there's a little maybe crowd of like spirits around him. They're
Yeah.
like, "This guy knows her. That's cool."
All right. Let's do this. I'm just trying to think what we can turn this into as in terms of a skill check. It's not really a trick. It's not an intimidate. It's not a push your luck. It's not an assess your situation. It's kind of a comfort and support, but you know what? Let's do a
It feels
comfort
like a
and
roll with harmony, really.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think harmony in general is the way to go here. All right, no +1 from chat because I think it's on cooldown, but let's see what happens. Is it not going through, Wolf, or
For what?
for harmony?
I clicked it. Should I click it again?
Yeah, click it again. Maybe Foundry's just lagging.
It's
tonight.
my it's loading really slow. That's weird. Do I have any bonuses right now?
Not at the moment, no.
Okay. 1 second.
Yeah,
Gross.
okay, so that's gonna be a miss, unfortunately.
Ah, fail.
Yeah. So I think what's gonna happen then is Ying does note you, Shazo, but still deer in the headlights.
Oh. I tried.
Yeah. And actually, I'm going to say, because it's a full miss here, I think some of the other spirits in the crowd are going to be like, yeah, tell us about adventures. Tell us about, what you want to do and how you're going to bring balance and all that. And Ying is like sweat drops just forming on her face in that typical cartoon fashion. So Amaruk and Lu Songshi, do you want to try and save Ying here is the question.
Yeah, I think that setting down the book, now that she's noticed this stoppage in the Dark Avatar's attempt at delivering a speech, Amaruk is going to reach into her pack and remove the spirit antler that she had on her person, so the original one, and then raise it up, making a series of gesticulations to it, and then almost like boosting motions, trying to call her mind back to that shared adventure that they had in the very outset where they escaped from the White Lotus compound, failing miserably, I'm sure, because this is not going to be a really rather elegant presentation of pantomime and charades, but it's calling back to that effort to lift each other up.
So I'm actually going to have you do a push your luck here, so that's going to be a passion, but I'm going to give you a +2 because you pulled out the antler, and I'll explain why in narration after the roll. And you get a full hit. So, Amaruk, as you remove the spirit antler and begin making motions, at first the spirit antler is just kind of inert, it's not really glowing, but after you start motioning at it, just like it did in the real world, it begins to shimmer with prismatic light and almost blinds you, holding such a bright object, but it projects the northern lights into the sky. And as that happens, Ying, who's carrying the other part of the spirit antler, she begins to glow with the same light, and the spirits all go, ooh, ah, kind of that mystical thing. And Ying's like, oh, right, this. And she reaches in and holds out the antler, and she holds it up above her head and says, this is what I mean. Wrongs like this are what I'm going to fix. I'm going to make sure that this doesn't happen again, and that humanity understands that they must live in peace with the spirits and the world around them. And there's a pause. And then the crowd just starts hooting and hollering. And Shazo, you start crowd surfing again as the music starts to kick back up. And Iroh comes back to take the microphone and goes, all right, you heard it, everybody. That's the Dark Avatar. We're going to let her and her friends go. Coming up next is one of my classical favorites. It's a little ditty I'd like to call Mudstorm. And as knockoff Sandstorm begins playing, I think that's where we're going to take our 5-minute break. So we'll be back shortly, everybody. Stick around. Hey, and welcome back. Quick thing. I was an idiot. It's not a dragon turtle, it's a lion turtle, but for sake of canon, we're going to call it a dragon lion turtle because that just sounds cool and is fun to say. So after the whole party scene, after the whole rave has died down, Shazo, Lu Songshi, Amaruk, Ying, you guys have sort of gone off to the side of this whole party as it breaks down and begins to basically more or less return to the spirit world around it. And you're just sort of understanding what just happened, both in terms of Ying's speech and the whole egg situation that Lu Songshi has discovered. Now, you all can choose whether to actually play out that conversation or say it's happened, but that's going to be your call, not mine.
As they're walking away from the party, the rave, Shazo looks back over his shoulder. Bye, Jim. Bye, Frank. Hey, Bip Bop. It was amazing. The backflip, loved it. I'll see you next rave, everybody.
we got to do it again next time. Next time you're in the spirit world.
I'll call you. I'll call you.
What the hell is a call? I don't understand what a call is.
Yeah, it's fine. We'll send a carrier pigeon. Goodbye, everybody.
We don't have okay, bye.
And I think as they're rejoining with Amaruk, and not with Amaruk, pardon me, with Ying, as she's coming down the stage, Amaruk is going to race up to her and book stuffed away in her pack, horn put away. I knew you pulled it out of the fire right at the end. That was a great setup. I thought it was almost like you planned it. There was this little period of uncertainty. You had people guessing, and then you sprung the trap. You sprung the heavy blow. It's like you led them into this 1-2 combo. It was really amazing speech. Great stuff. Loved it.
He turns to Lu Songshi, gets very close, looks down, bends a little bit, and in a very, very quiet whisper and says, "If you ever make me speak in front of a crowd again, I will take away your metal bending."
Not on your best day.
And there's a staring match for like a good minute, and eventually Ying backs off and says, "Okay, crisis is handled. What are we doing about dragon, lion, turtle egg?
We need to take it somewhere so that it can hatch. It's about ready to hatch, Iroh said. We just need to let it hatch. And I don't know about you all, but I want to be present for that."
Okay. Where should we hatch it?
I mean, we're not just going to let it go, are we? Can it care for itself?
I mean, it's a dragon lion turtle. I would hope it could.
But it's just a baby dragon lion turtle.
Well, yeah, but then, she motions. Didn't Iroh say something about it tapping into vast knowledge repositories or some such?
Mm-hmm. They know a lot of things, maybe everything. And also, and Lou becomes serious for a second, maybe forgetting the wonder of the turtle, looks at Amaruk, and his eyes are sort of narrow, and says, "Your people have a lot to answer for."
I don't know what they were trying to do with this lion turtle. It's not what we stand for. We're about preserving knowledge, not...
Well, it seems fairly obvious to me. They're going to use it to empower an army of benders.
They did mention something about a ritual, but it didn't seem as if the lion turtle itself was at the heart of it. We still don't really know what they're trying to do other than collecting objects, artifacts with spiritual significance. But if that's what they're doing...
Say something real quick.
So Shazot is leaning down, and it looks like him and Fazzapo are having a conversation. Like Fazzapo's making this little, and he goes, "Are you sure?" And okay. He leans back over, and as Amaruk had mentioned, her organization wants to retain and preserve knowledge. Well, Amaruk, Fazzapo said, what better way to retain knowledge than to literally have access to all of it? That's what these lion turtles do, right? They have access to all knowledge. They would literally be the beginning and end of all knowledge, your organization.
He's got a point.
Maybe
That's
this
true.
ritual in some way taps into that knowledge.
Or transfers it to possibly a human recipient? Can that even be done?
And Vatu, who, again, only can do this in the spirit world, the little black spirit form of Vatu, comes up on Ying's shoulder and goes, "Well, technically, I mean, if Rava and I can go and make an avatar, it is possible to transfer all the knowledge into a receptacle, but would I advise doing it? Not unless you only want to live for about a year afterwards." And Ying kind of looks over at Vatu and goes, "Okay, thanks. Can you maybe warn me next time you do that? Because it feels really weird." "Oh, sorry. I'll go back in." And Vatu goes back into Ying. God, it feels weird every time that happens.
The books that were there, were they old, ancient books or recent? Had they been doing this for years?
Well, many of them were stolen from the library of
Yes.
the Spirit Library.
Oh,
Also have
Wan
things
Shi
like that.
Tong, should we return those books while we're here?
And Amrit just sort of clutches the book to her chest. You know, there's a reason that this book fell into our hands, right? This should be shared with the world, not the Library of the Spirits is more akin to the Twin Moon hoarding information and knowledge for themselves. See? Why should we give this back to somebody who would treat it exactly the same way that my mother would?
All right, I think Ying is definitely going to call you out on that and tell you to live up to tradition rather than progress. So, as a reminder, the way this works is, since it's an NPC doing it, you are going to have to roll 2d6, and depending on if you get a hit or not, you can either shift principles, or there's a whole list of things. But first, you need to roll me that 2d6.
I think that's...
This is going to be a roll.
An 8 is acceptable. An 8 will get you one of the following. You can either clear a condition or mark growth by immediately acting to prove them wrong, i.e. not choosing to take the book back. You can shift the balance towards the opposite principle, but looking at your character sheet, that would push you over into +4, -4, which would move your center. So if you want to do that, it's possible, but I just wanted to warn you. Or you can take +1 forward against Ying for whatever reason. Because you already know what her principles are.
Right. So the first option was...
You can clear a condition or mark a growth by immediately acting to prove Ying wrong here. Basically, that, she's telling you to return the book and you gotta, convince her otherwise, kind of a thing.
Right. So I think that I will act to prove her wrong. So that's
Okay.
mark a growth and act to prove her wrong.
That or clear a condition, yeah.
Okay. And she's going to then flip open the book to this halfway point and then turn it around to show off a series of almost like ritualistic incantations. You see this? Right? This kind of information is enough to cure diseases. Right? This was stored away just as a curiosity, something that man, I'm not going to pronounce that name.
Wan Shi
Blast.
Tong.
Wan
I
Shi
butchered it
Tong was just going to keep for himself amid dust and ashes and the corpses of the people who have gone after his library in the past. How can you say that it's right for him to keep this when we're fighting the Twin Moon because they're doing the exact same thing? This lion turtle, too. Why are we letting it go? That knowledge that it has could help people.
And I think Ying is actually going to be a little bit taken aback by that and is going to look between Lu Songxi and Shazou for any sign of support. But what you got, Wolf?
So Shazou is going to do that thing he's been doing where he's going to appear next to Amruk.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to, not aggressively, but he's going to grab the other side of the book. And he's going to look her dead in the eyes. You sound just like your family. You have to give it back. It's the right thing to do.
All right. Well, that sounds like a call out to me.
Oh yeah, calling her out.
All right, so, but what that's going to involve, let me look at your character sheet here, because this might be an extremely interesting situation. All right,
You know,
you're at
just hang up
+3,
on Matthew, 'cause
-3
I'm
as
okay with
well.
it. We'll just-
Oh my lord, this could be extremely interesting. All right, so let me read it through to make sure we do this right, because this could be two people losing their balance here. All right, so when you openly call on someone to live up to their principle, so Shazou, you're immediately going to shift your balance away from center, which means no matter what happens, you're going to tick over on your balance track. And we'll go over that in a moment.
Okay.
But you're now going to roll with their principle. Now, what is it you are calling them to do? You're getting them to return the book?
Yes.
That would be tradition in this case. So you are going to be rolling with a -3. So a 2d6 -3 here. Unless chat wants to give a +1, maybe?
I'm rolling with a -3, you said?
-3, because that's what her tradition is right now, yeah.
Hard yikes.
All right, chat. Come on, chat. We believe in you. Maybe a +1. Maybe chat. Maybe. Yeah.
11. That's still a hit.
Well, no, you got a -3, so it is an 8. Okay, yeah, it's 11, so
That's
-8. All right. So on a hit, they are called to act as you say, and they must either do it or mark a condition. In addition, they challenge your view of the world in turn, and because you're already ticked over on your balance track, you're going to mark a fatigue here. But let's handle the narrative balance here, because it's a big deal. So what you're going to do, Wolf, is you're going to take that little dot in the center of your track, and you're going to move it towards force here.
Done.
And then you're going to reset yourself to +1, -1 over that new... yep, you got it. All right.
Done.
So just so you know, that center doesn't change until you tick over again. So just be aware that that's where your center is at the moment. All right. So again, returning to Amrook here for a moment. What is it you say to Shazo to challenge their view of the world in turn?
So, considering the fact that he has just ticked over into force, she's going to try to leverage care, in essence.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to mark a condition, right?
You have to either mark a fatigue or they shift your balance as they choose. Also, hello, Raiders. Hello.
Okay. Then, in attempting to challenge that position, she's going to look him in the eye, clutching onto the book now with both hands, not pulling on it, but holding it firmly, and say, "You think your father would approve of this? I thought your father was dedicated to your tribe, to your people, to caring for them. We're here to defend the entire world, to care for them, to protect them from the White Lotus, from my family, from anyone who would seek to do them harm. And this book, other artifacts like it, can do exactly that."
All right, now Shazo, here's where your balance shift is going to come into play here. You can either, and you have to pick one of these, you can either give in or submit to your opposition, i.e. you give in to what Amarok's saying, you lose control of yourself in a destructive and harmful way, or you take an extreme action in line with that principle, then book it.
I have a very important question.
Yes.
Do we have access to our bending right now?
You do, yes.
At the mention of his father, it was a stern tone as he, not aggressively but firmly took the other end of the book, just gave equal pressure to what Amarok is holding it, he is holding it. But as soon as you mentioned his father, you watch as the book begins to smolder and flake away partly as flames start to appear around his hands. And I'm going to go into destructive mode, I guess was one of the options. Is that correct? You have no idea. You have no idea what you're talking about. How dare you? And the book is burning where his hands are, handprints are burning into it.
And I think seeing that with this almost instinctual expression of horror, and I'm going to ask this out of character because I don't want to just pull this on you. Are you okay with PvP here? Because that's...
I was going to say, I think in this instance, I think...
We've already
PvP...
fought each other.
That's a joke. This is not so much. Okay, then...
I mean, as long as you both are okay with it, I will adjudicate.
I
just
think
want to make sure
it is
you're both okay
applicable.
I agree, yes.
Okay.
So she's going to try to just sweep his leg as he's hyperfixated on the book, and hoping that he will let go of it in that shock and surprise.
All right. So we're not technically going to go into an exchange here because you've already advanced an
Can I butt in
attack.
for just a second?
Yeah, what you got?
I would like to let that happen.
Oh, okay
and
then.
for him to fall to the ground because that seems thematically appropriate.
Okay. I was going
And
to have you roll,
also,
but if you're okay with it, go for
Amarok
it.
totally messed him up the last battle, so it makes sense. She kept saying, watch your legs. He's not watching his legs. Sweep. Done. Down.
And then immediately looking at that smoldering sort of pockmarks that have formed on the book, she's going to try her best to use just a small amount of water vapor or mist to douse the remaining flames.
And you do.
You would rather destroy something than use it to help others because you can't get your way?
Leg sweep on Amarok.
And I
From
think
the ground.
I think thematically, I think it would be appropriate for Amarok to now take the spell.
Absolutely. And the book goes just flying off into the distance as she desperately tries to catch herself landing hard on her back.
And with that one action, he's going to flip back up, standing position, look down at her. You're right. Watch the legs, Amarok. Watch the legs. And he's just going to march over. Fazapo is going to look sad, run up and jump on his shoulder, and he's just going to go stand over by Lu and Ying and just not look over at Amarok.
And I think as you're walking over and all this happens, I think the Ying turns to Lu Songxi and says, should we? I feel like we should step in here.
And I think that Lu will. He's still sort of fixated on this egg, almost to just a laser point, and he'll suddenly become aware of what's happened with his friends, and he'll give the egg to Ying, turning to regard them, and in his eyes you see a barely restrained fury. Probably unlike anything that you've seen from him to this point. And he looks at you both and goes, do you see this? This is why we will lose.
And Amarok, just standing, dusting off her pants, is going to look back at him somewhat mournfully with a quick glance over to Xiaozhou. If we can't agree on what we're trying to win, we've already lost.
And what is that? What are we trying to win?
We're just a bunch of stupid, dumb kids who happen to fall in with the dark avatar. We're doing nothing. And with a very mournful look over to Amarok, we're just hurting each other's feelings and making things worse.
All that we have right now is each other. It is literally us against the world. I need to know that you'll be at Ying's back and mine and not at each other's throats.
Well, you tell me then. What are we fighting for? We've gone about from one place to the next, getting sucked into the spirit world twice over. We've stumbled upon mysteries that we don't understand, machinations and plans that have been put in effect before any of us were even born. How are we supposed to deal with that?
The only way we can. Together.
That's a platitude, not an answer.
And I think Ying actually enters the conversation at this point, but she does so by walking over to the book, picking it up, and, one hand egg, one hand book. She looks between the two of them and goes, "We're returning this. I know what you want, Amrook. I know you do. And Shazo, I'm not just doing that because I agree with you. We're not gods. I'm not a god. Vantu's not a god. We can't just be the arbiters of... We can't have that kind of power. One person cannot have that kind of power."
And Amarok just sort of smiles wryly and says, "It's interesting that the person who actually does have that power, the bridge between worlds, the one who's meant to bring balance to the world, is the one to say that."
And she kind of stops for a moment. "Would you like to try to shift her balance before I go any further?"
So what were her two principles again?
So, if I remember correctly, one of hers is progress, and her other is freedom. And right now, she's a +1 towards freedom.
Yes. I think in this instance, it would be pushing her towards progress, making a kind of change in the world by upsetting the previously established order that she wants to reimpose. Although it might be towards freedom. I don't know how you would argue for that.
Yeah, I was going to say, they can both go different ways. I'll let you be the final arbiter here, because I'm just noting on her character sheet that apparently it didn't save my changes. So let me just quickly mess with her sheet here. All right. So yeah, it's your call. Do you want to push her towards more freedom, or do you want to push her towards more responsibility?
Yeah, I guess it would be pushing her towards freedom.
Okay.
So liberty from those conventions of behavior and ownership that existed previously, and that sense of constraint by the regulations of society.
Okay. So again, if I remember correctly how to do this, you are going to roll with her freedom, which is a +1 at the moment. And as you're rolling that, so Lord Exile, what it basically means is that the balance track goes from -3 +3 for both traditions, and it's basically a way that some things in the system require being at your center, and now that that center has shifted over, it's now something that Shazo has to be a little bit more aware of where his center is, because before it was at 0, it's now at -1 +1 towards 4s. So it's, without having to go over the entire system, it's kind of a really cool thing with Avatar Legends that sort of incentivizes drama and playing towards, one end of the spectrum or another. But it's definitely something I enjoy. But what I would say is if you really want to know the nitty gritty, book's coming out in a week. So there you go. But yes, Matthew, within 8, I believe, within 8, you are... Let's see, the act is they... Yeah, so I think what's happening is Ying is going to push to +2 freedom. And as she does so, she's going to kind of look back down in the book and goes, I get what you're saying, America. I know this book can help people, but... look at it this way. The Grand Master thinks that I'm an abomination, that, that I deserve to be contained, and all these terrible things, the bending suppression, I'm not really thinking clearly right now, but what I'm trying to say is, if we just haphazardly hand out knowledge, you've heard of what goes on in Republic City. Didn't you come from around there? The Triads are ruling the place right now. They're... the people are getting away with horrible crimes because of new technologies and new ways of bending, and progress for progress' sake is not good.
You know how I feel. It's ultimately your decision. You have the book. You have the egg, and you're the Avatar.
And I think very appropriately, she's now going to look to Lu Songshi. And if I recall correctly, you have a +1 forward against Ying at the moment.
Ying, you've demonstrated the ability to open these spirit portals. There's nothing to say that this is going to be our only chance to return this book. I think we should give Amaruk some time with it.
And at that, Amaruk is going to perk up slightly and reach into her sack and pull out that manuscript or the tome that she's always had with her journal. I mean, I can just copy down the best bits. We wouldn't be taking all of it, and maybe just a week. I write very quickly. All that poetry practice, the short stories and all that, I've got it. I can do it.
Right now, we're reeling from the pace of events. It's getting to me too. But we have to stay true to each other, and sometimes that means trust. So I guess what I'm trying to say, Amaruk, is that I trust you with this.
And looking somewhat abashed, the book falling and being sort of placed under her arm, she's going to nod. I'll do everything that I can to make sure that this time, I'm worthy of that.
But we aren't keeping the turtle, just so you know.
But he'd be so adorable. Little baby lion turtle, come on.
We can't even keep track of Hosa.
Hey,
But we
Hosa's,
can't take
Hosa's
Hosa
your
with
pet.
us, which is massive.
But before we get too sidetracked, Shazo, you were doing what you felt was right. And I respect that. But what I want is, and he'll gesture between Amaruk and Shazo for you two to be okay. What do you need right now?
Nothing.
Well, then let's go watch a lion turtle be born.
Go on without me. I'll catch up.
And Lou will nod and return to Ying, sort of take the egg back up and begin to
And
walk
Ying will
into.
toss over the book gently towards Amaruk so that she can catch it proper.
Thanks.
And Ying is going to call over to Shazo. Meet back at the Tree of Time when you're good.
Yeah, I'll be there.
And then turning to the others, why does it feel like every time we come to the spirit world, I don't think Shazo likes this place at all.
No, he was having a marvelous time.
Yeah, he's grown. He's come a long way from the last time we were here when he was so distrustful of spirits. Made a lot of good friends, and maybe that's a lesson to all of us, that sometimes we just need to familiarize ourselves with the things that make us uncomfortable. Learn how to live with them.
You could really write some of these down in like a book or, like a poem thing. I feel like you could, publish some good stuff here. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Oh, I do that all the time. I mean, you see me in here, writing away, reading. It's just... Have I ever shared my poetry with you?
No?
One of these days. Ask me about it when we have time.
And Ying, noticing Lu Songshi, like, no. She winks and says, right. So, I know we kind of got lost there. Where are we hatching this lion, dragon, turtle thing? Where are we hatching it?
And I think, up to this point, Lou has just been walking, not really saying anything, and just sort of looked around, and imagines it'd be like a glade or a thicket, and just sort of looks at the sort of open patch of ground and says, "Why not here?"
Sure.
And he sets the egg down.
So you set the egg down, you all step back. Minute passes. 5 minute passes. 10 minutes passes. Ying kind of looks over at Amarok. So do we wait or do we energy bend? What do we do here?
I mean, we want to let this happen naturally, probably, right? I don't know. I've never given birth.
I didn't mean it in that way. I thought you might have read something about it.
No, I mean, about human births, sure, but this is a lion turtle egg. I didn't even really know that those things existed.
And I think at that moment, Lou, who has gone into a seated sort of lotus position, is just sort of half staring at the egg, just goes, "Shh."
And I think at that shush, there's a crack. But it's not just like a crack of an egg. You can feel the crack on almost kind of an unnatural, almost subconscious way. And you realize that your subconscious is telling you need to get the hell away from this egg. So Ying starts sprinting, like getting far away from the egg. Whether Lu Songxi and Amarok, whether you do the same, up to you. But you have a very strong urge to be away from the egg right now.
I think just suddenly, like the facade of the sort of, calm, serene, patient observer cracks, and Lou just sort of scrambles up and begins to sprint away.
Yeah, and Amarok just goes slightly pale, her dusky flesh going just ever so slightly whiter, and she is off.
The good news is after you get about probably 50 meters away from the egg, so you can still see it, but as you get 50 meters away, and this is going to be a pop culture reference, but it's the best way I think of to describe it, it's almost like a Pokeball opening where the egg turns into a glowing sphere, and that sphere of light begins to enlarge and form into a fully sized lion turtle. And
they said it wasn't going to be that big.
As it stops materializing and touches the ground finally, you can all feel the weight as it touches the ground. And it lands actually facing all of you. And as that imposing lion face looks at all of you, the eyes going between Lu Songxi, Amarok, and Ying, the lion turtle simply says, "Thank you."
No problem.
And all Lou can manage is just a nod.
And Ying actually steps forward, says, "If you don't mind me asking, lion, dragon, turtle, what element do you have access to?" Lion turtle looks down. "I have access to them all." "Then, could you bring back airbending?" And there's a pause, because out of character, we need to make a call here, and I want this to be a group call. And this is why I've introduced the the lion turtle. Lion dragon, you know what I mean. Because lion turtles cheat, basically. The lion turtles are how bending happens. They're how a lot of things in Avatar happen. And again, this is something that's going to shape the world moving forward. Do you want this lion turtle to go give airbending to people? Because if you do, it's actually going to open up airbending for the other group that potentially starts in a few weeks, but it also means you might be dealing with airbenders in the future. And it's going to be a big deal. It's going to be a humongous deal that airbenders have come back. But again, I want it to be your guys' decision, not mine here.
Well, I, for one, my answer is a hard yes.
Hard yes? Okay.
Well, on the one hand, it's probably not great. We kind of agreed in character that we weren't gods, but on the other hand, we should probably lean into it. So
Yes.
my answer is yes.
Yeah. We should probably not play gods, but let's do so anyways.
Yes,
Yeah, there's a little
exactly.
hypocrisy there. There's just a little bit.
So, in character, Amaruk would be entirely a proponent of this plan because it's the dissemination of this power to other people, right? So it's almost an equalizing force for them, and it will restore the airbenders, who are essentially a deceased people. So, yes.
Yeah, Lord Exile just said what I was about to say. It's recreating balance. It's not playing God. You're fixing the problem.
No, the airbenders didn't die out naturally. They were slaughtered by the Fire Nation in their attempt to stop the Avatar cycle. So yes, absolutely.
All right. So Ying says that. Ying says, "Can you bring back the airbenders?" And the dragon turtle looks down and says, "It will take time."
Your wish has been granted.
Fucking Dragon Ball reference just out of nowhere. That's what happens. No, I was going to say something profound, but no, you made a Dragon Ball reference, so we're going to roll with it. Your wish has been granted. And the lion turtle begins to fade, almost like you're sliding the opacity meter on like an image. It just begins to fade, and then it's gone. And Ying turns back to all of you and goes, "Did I just bring back airbending?"
I mean, most avatars don't even accomplish anything even close to that over their entire lifetimes. So good on you. That's amazing.
That. I did make that whole comment about playing God. I think I literally just did that.
No. You corrected an injustice a century and a half old.
The world has been out of balance, regardless of what Avatar Aang did, because as one man, he couldn't restore his people. Certainly he had his son, Tenzin, I think, but you restored a people. You brought balance back to the world.
Ooh boy. I have a feeling we're going to be either very popular or very popular with the wrong people. Okay. Tree of time, so we can figure out where we're going from here.
Tree of time.
Amaruk is actually going to pause and then put her hand to the her satchel, which contains the antler. We never really asked about. And then she just opens the satchel slightly, so you see that fusion of prismatic colors.
Right, and this one.
Should we? I mean, if they can't have killed a spirit, that's not possible, is it?
No, I don't think anybody can kill a spirit.
Exactly. So these have to be returned, or I don't know, at least purified, cleansed, venerated properly.
Hey, you take one horn, I'll take the other, and maybe we can spirit or energy bend them, cleanse them in a way. I mean, I like where your head's at.
And yeah, I guess Amaruk then is just going to settle into a lotus position, meditating in front of the prismatic antler, and attempt to reach out with that energy bending to at least assess its condition alongside the avatar, working in tandem with her, so that we can try to create some kind of harmonic resonance between the two to yoke their energies together, or to understand the interplay of energy between the two objects.
All right, that's definitely going to be rely on your skills and training, which is going to be with focus here. And I don't think you have a condition that affects this, but I'll take a look anyway. Let's see.
I think I cleared Insecured earlier on.
Yeah, you cleared Insecure, so you're good.
Yeah. So, focus.
You get a hit. So what that means is you'll do it imperfectly. So, and again, I'm going to make a pop culture reference here, but you guys remember Princess Mononoke, right? where that deer god was going through, and doing all that sort of thing. As you start to spirit bend and get a feel for the antler, there's a sudden connection to a spirit, quote unquote, across the world in the spirit world. And for a moment, you see a flash of a deer-like spirit without its antlers. You see it prancing towards what is essentially a camera, but prancing towards you, your vision. And as you sort of start to step back or maybe lean forward, what you realize is that you hear the thundering of hooves. And after a moment, this antlerless deer spirit comes bounding up to all of you in this glade. And it is immense. It is not quite the size of a lion turtle, but it's pretty close. It is large. And it simply looks down at you and waits to see what you do.
And I think just sort of staring up at the creature, Amaruk is going to fumble on the ground in front of her for the horn, grasp hold of it just gingerly, and then raise it up into the air as high as she can go.
And Ying does the same. And as you both hold it up, palm up, the antlers begin to glow. And then in a flash of light, they turn into little doves that then fly up to where the antlers used to be on the deer spirit. And like a branching tree, just antlers shoot out. And it's not just one rack, it's like 3 or 4 racks that then branch off into other racks. And as it finishes glowing and the antlers return, the spirit looks down at you all and says, "Make sure this doesn't happen again." And then it just turns and starts walking back towards what is, to your perspective, to the east, but it's the spirit world. East is relative.
That was awesome and terrifying at the same time.
Yeah, can we not summon any large spirits like that? I mean, can we just limit that to like maybe once per spirit world journey?
Well, to be fair, we had no idea that it was that large, considering that the antlers were just... And she makes a little, almost like foot-sized box with her hands, and then branches out, miming the orientation of the horns.
How are we supposed to stop that from ever happening again?
You think stopping the twin moon, whatever they're doing, is a good point to start. And then, we're going to transition away from this group to the Tree of Time, where Shazo, you've arrived ahead of the others.
No, he hasn't.
Oh, no? What are you doing then?
No. Shazo never went to the Tree of Time. He went back to see, is it Master
Iroh?
Iroh?
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have to delve into it too deeply, but
Well, I want to give you a scene, so go for it.
I want there to be a moment where Shazo appears maybe at his hut and just Master Iroh.
Yes, Shazo, what is it I can do for you?
It is said you are one of the greatest firebenders in the history of our nation.
Well, depends on who you ask, I suppose, but some have said that.
It is also said you were one of the most balanced individuals. I am filled with so much anger, so much hatred, and I feel like I am about to burn from the inside out. I need you to teach me how to not let that fire inside consume me.
And he kind of strokes his Fu Manchu and says, "You remind me of my nephew Zuko. There isn't something that I can teach you that will immediately get rid of the problem. It's something you're going to have to work on and come to accept with yourself. But I can give you a little bit of advice. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to feel hatred. The key is not letting it consume you. For if you let it consume you, that's all you'll ever be."
Do you have any tea, Master?
I have quite the variety.
Might I take a few moments of your time and have a cup with you?
I would be delighted.
And if I may, GM, I would like there to be a scene of the two of them having their tea, perhaps talking for a moment, and then Shazo will maybe look out the window, and somewhere in the distance you can see the Tree of Time. And you all arrive there. If it's all right, you would arrive there.
Mhm.
And then maybe like by the time it's getting a little awkward, finally Shazo shows back up. How did the dragon, turtle, lion thing go?
You know, about as well as you could expect.
I
big.
sort of, yeah, I sort of maybe brought back airbending, kinda. Yeah, that was the thing that happened while you were gone.
Okay.
Are you okay?
Yeah. Let's get back to the regular world. I want to make sure my airship's still in one piece.
Yeah, about that. I can sort of make the portals to the spirit world, but in order to go back to the real world, we have to use actual conduits. And she points at the 4 cardinal directions out from the Tree of Time. So we can either go to the South Pole, the North Pole, near the Eastern Air Temple, or I have no idea where that one goes, but I'm assuming somewhere in the West.
The sound bit of Master telling him about, not being consumed by your hatred and rage plays over in Shazo's head, and he just closes his eyes for a moment and opens them. I trust all of you to make the right decision to where we should go.
Well, I don't know about the rest of you, but I feel like we're going to need that airship.
So, Eastern Air Temple, and then we take a boat? Though I worry if we go back to the Eastern Air Temple, well, the Grandmaster might have gotten reinforcements by now.
And Emmerich, sort of surreptitiously looking over at Shaozo on occasion, while pretending to focus on the Dark Avatar, is going to say, well, we can always get other transport. And she starts wearing her hands together a little bit. But what about you? You needed training in airbending. You've gotten that. Do you think you're really ready to assume the duties of the Avatar? Is there other training that you need, somewhere that you need to go?
I feel like the answer I should say is yes, but I mean, I literally. She closes her eyes, huffs. Okay. Republic City, it's to the west, right?
That's right.
Let's go see what Republic City's got going on. I've always wanted to see it, and maybe we can help influence and gather information about the Twin Moon while we're there.
We might want to consider a little rest as well.
Well, I imagine the western portal there is going to spit us out somewhere in the Fire Nation. And Ying winces and actually looks at Shazo. Do you know any places where we could stay?
I can find us lodgings.
Okay. My vote's for the western portal to hopefully the Fire Nation.
And I think Emmerich just slaps on a massive grin that is noticeably strained. Fire Nation, then Republic City. Sounds like a great plan, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
Liu Songshi?
Only if Shazo's on board.
Shazo.
Chazo's already walking towards the Tree of Time.
I believe there's our answer.
All right. Fire Nation it is.
As you all step through the spirit portal, that's where we end today's session. But before we go, we have to handle some growth questions because we didn't do it last time. So, I think you all did learn something challenging, exciting, or complicated about the world.
I am rage.
Wait, what?
Swear to me. Swear to me.
I'm almost waiting for Shazo to do a Batman.
Where's Fazabo? Where's Fazabo?
I think that has to happen now. Note to self, make him lose Fazzapo.
If you take
Oh my God,
away
okay,
my
wait.
furry squirrel cat, I will find you.
He could be like the bat spirit, like a bat Tengu. It just.
I thought you were going to do the whole bit there, Wolf. I will
Cat
find
squirrel.
you. I will look for you.
Cat
I will
squirrel man.
find you, and I will kill you. But you didn't do the taken thing. What? It's right there for you.
We'll find you, and I will firebend you.
There you go. All right, so you stopped a dangerous setter, solved the community problem. That's another one. Did you guide a companion towards balance or end the session at your center? Interestingly,
I did.
I think only Shaz-O, you're the only one that ended at center. So, Lu Songshi, Amaruk, you get 2 growth boxes. Shaz-O, you get 3. And now I have to ask your playbook specific questions here. So we'll do Lu Songshi first. Your question is, did you pursue a desire or goal of your own outside of protecting others?
Yes, I think he was vehemently committed to protecting this egg and seeing it hatched,
I would
regardless
agree.
of what anybody else thought.
I would definitely agree, so you can take another growth box. Now for the hammer for Mr. Shazo. Did you make progress towards your goal against your adversary?
I would say no.
Yeah, I'd say no. All right, so you stay the same. And then finally, the successor. I believe you're going to say yes. Did you learn something meaningful or important about your lineage, its members, or its effect on the worlds and others? Yeah.
I certainly think so. That's just suffering succotash there.
There
but,
you go.
Suckering succotash.
All right. So ultimately, this might not matter depending on what the full rules end up being. But did anyone get another growth advancement here?
Yeah.
All right. Let's handle that on stream just so there's a record of it as well. What is it you're looking at taking there?
I am going to raise a stat by 1.
Okay.
So I'm going to raise my focus. So that's going to bring my focus up to a 3. Now, the reason I could do that is because I also have furrowed brow,
Okay.
which gives me +1 to focus and makes my focus maximum 3.
Excellent. Like it. All right. Let's do Shazo next. Shazo, what would you like to take for your growth advancement?
Well, I don't think I got one. I'm only at 3.
Oh, so you didn't have a
I only have
box
3
left
ticks.
over?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so you still have a box then. And Amaruk, you ticked over then.
I did not. I just have
Did
3.
not. Okay, so it was just Lu Songshi that ticked over. Okay. All right. Well, with that handled, I think that's where I'm going to end the recording for YouTube. But Twitch, stick around because we're going to raid somebody. But YouTube, see you later.